Hello there. Good morning. Welcome to another edition of Knocks to Nuggets. My name is Oluwayomi Ute, and it's such a joy to come your way this beautiful, beautiful Monday morning. So, how was your weekend? I had a very beautiful weekend. It was full of activities and they were all successful. How about yours? It's a beautiful day today. A big thank you to everyone joining me live and everyone that will join thereafter. For everyone that will watch even the recorded version, I say a big thank you. Thank you for giving me a share of your time. Like I will always say, please like the video, share it, let somebody out there know that there is something called Knocks to Nuggets. So, this beautiful Monday morning, what are we up to? What are we talking about today? I know I'm so excited because throughout the month of May, we actually looked at mother parenthood, but we kind of zeroed in on mothers, and we had a good time out talking about the career woman and talking about the business, the entrepreneur, and how they're able to juggle and handle the issues of motherhood. I know the truth of the matter is this: motherhood is quite interesting and is very rewarding. And so, for every mother out there, a big shout out to you. Like I always say, we love you and we can't trade you for anything else. Now, the month of June is the month where we celebrate fathers. So, Father's Day is coming soon. And that's what it is, June. So, for those who think that we don't have time for fathers, it's your time. So, we are coming on live today and we are starting from today to talk about fathers. And I have two friends that are joining me. I'm still expecting them in. I'm sure they would come in very soon. And when they come in, I'll be glad to add them immediately. So, okay, I think they're having technical issues. Um, Technology always does that, but I'm sure they would join in soon. So, I have two lovely friends coming to talk about dads. Now, when you talk about parenthood, many times talk about mothers. Yes, mothers have a role to play. Mothers are exciting. Mothers are a blessing. Mothers are always there for you. Mothers are those people that can be your friends. Mothers are also those strict people. Like a lot of people will say, mothers can be strict. I totally agree. And then fathers. I recall those times when some people tell you when your dad is coming, just take the turn and run. But things are changing very fast and things are taking a new turn. Now, fathers are understanding that they don't have to be that hard. They can be firm and they can be friendly. And fatherhood is being a blessing. So, today, joining me to talk about fathers, my first friend is in the house. And so, I'm going to be bringing her in. And when the second comes in, I will also be bringing him on. So, starting with me today is a dear friend. And yes, she's my friend. She's my daughter. She's that party that you just hit yourself at the back and do a high five. So she's coming on to talk about fathers, and she'll be talking to me about who does it, what do I even think, who do I think a father is. So starting off this conversation with me today is no other than Damilola Balogun. Hey, Dami is in the house. Yes, we can
Good
see you now. Good
morning.
morning, Dami.
So excited to be here.
Thank you so much for coming on. So I'm expecting Gabriel to join us soon. But while we're expecting Gabriel, damn it, talk to me. What's fatherhood to you? Who is a father?
Okay. So my definition of father, first of, it is the male parent in the family that leads and loves the family. Then there are different characteristics that define a father. He provides, he loves, he takes care of the family. Is the one that, as for Christians, is the one that leads them to God, is the priest of the home. So there's so many qualities that define a father. It's the one that provides, is the one that most of it supports his wife, in training the children in the way that they should go. yes, there's so many dynamics to fatherhood. When you have a child, you want to take care of that child. You want to ensure that it has all the amenities and basic amenities that it needs to grow up to be the person he's supposed to be. You have to lead him to Christ as Christians, and you have to support your wife also.
Wow. So I hear you. A father provides, a father loves, a father takes care of the family, and a father is the priest of the home. But hey,
Yeah.
we used to say that fathers are, I don't want to use the word terrorist, but when fathers appear, the children are jittery. Does that still happen today? In our time, that happened. When dad is coming, you just automatically best behaved. Does that still happen today?
Well, personal experience, I didn't grow up with that kind of father. So it didn't, but it's still prevalent. In some, when I speak with my friends, they're like, oh, when their dad comes in, they have to run and they don't like being there because he's always strict, he's always looking for fault. So yeah, it's still quite prevalent. They want to be strict, they want to ensure that you're on your best behavior. But at the same time, we are being taught, love and correct. So my dad, it's always fun to be around my dad. We are very cool. So it's not my experience, thankfully.
It's not an experience, thankfully, but let me pick you on this. So there's this thing
Okay.
about fathers and daughters. Is it really true?
Well, I think so because girls, everyone wants to protect the girl child. So you're like, oh, don't go out that night, don't go to this so and so party. So there's this softer hand they use on females than on males. They expect the male child to be strong, bold and everything. So you see, fathers, they tend to be softer in pampering their girl child. They tend to like, oh, I don't want you to go out there and everything. But there's always a balance to it.
Fathers, so truly. So let me ask you this. I'm putting you on the spot, and I know your mom too is watching. Between your dad and your mom, who is closer?
Who am I closer to?
Yes.
This is a very um difficult question to answer. I would say in different areas of my life, I know who I go to. Because one thing about my parents is, while I was thinking about this topic too, they are so in sync when it comes to parenting that I see my mom and dad play the same role. So if I need help in so area, like if I want to talk about career, I want to talk about politics, I'm closer to my dad in that aspect. If I want to talk about relationship, if I want to talk about maybe health issues, and I go to my mom. So it's basically they are so in sync in parenting me and I am my brother that I don't know who I'm close to. I used to joke with them that they are just the perfect blend because I can't stay with two of my dad, I can't stay with two of my mom. So both of them together make the perfect blend for me. So I can't actually choose.
Wow, this is diplomatically correct. Even though I think I agree, because I see you with both of them and I eye you both from the distance. So Gabriel is in the house now. So I'm going to bring in Gabriel. Just a minute. Let's welcome to the studio Gabriel Olise. So the guy is in the house. Hi.
Hi, hello guys.
Good to see you. So Gabriel, we had started before
Yeah.
you came in with Dami talking about who a father is to you. So let me ask you,
Mhm.
what's your view of fatherhood? Gabriel, the light at your back is
A bit
coming
too-
in. The
Ooh,
light at your back is, yes, if we could, I'll take you out, shut that
yeah,
window, and we'll be back.
yeah, yeah. My bad. Please again.
Okay, so we'll wait for Gabriel to just adjust that so we can see him. So I was going to ask him that question, but it's almost done. He's going to come back right on. But yes, I see both. I see you and the two of them, and I see the way you guys roll. So I think it's close. But I'm almost tempted to say I see you tilt more towards your dad, though. But we'll come back. I'll come back to you on that. So Gabriel, you're welcome back. Oh,
Thank
awesome! We
you.
can see your face clearly now. So for you, who is a father?
To me, a father is obviously a role model. A father
Okay.
is usually the head of the house. A father is more like also a guidance counselor in a way because You have to do more than just provide for your family in a lot of cases, because if there's no communication between you and your children, it has a long lasting effect on the lives. Because I've seen so many situations whereby, I know people who don't necessarily who have their fathers in their lives, but there's no connection between them. So
Hmm.
there's no emotional connection, and they seem to not really like their dads rather, because they're unable to have this one-to-one or heart conversation, which is very important and helps with the development of progressive adults and progressive people in today's society and progressive people in all. So those things are very important. That's what I see as a father is, more than just
Hmm.
being a provider and more than just being the head of the house. You have to, he's other than being a leader has to communicate with his flock. And if there is no one-to-one communication with your flock, it's always going to have ripple effects coming on and going forward.
Hmm. Yeah, you brought in two things to it. So yes, Dami had agreed with all you have said. She also said he has to be the priest of the family, takes care
Yes.
of the family, loves, provides, and they say he has to be a role model, a guide, a counselor, and very importantly, I hear you emphasize communication. So a father must be a communicator. Now, let me take you on this. When we were growing up, for most people, when their fathers appear, they disappear. Has that been your experience?
Um, Me, no, actually. I've grown up with my dad. When my dad comes in, he actually does stay with us, and we have conversations. He likes to see what we were doing. He likes to be involved. He used to ask questions, especially when in the living room. He'll come in, even be if we're playing we have a console or anything. He will be there. He will ask questions like, "What are you doing? Who is this? Was that?" He's very wanting to know about things. So I wasn't really chased. It was very much an active part. I know he wanted to know. So it was also so cool at the same time, because you see him like be like fascinated, like, okay, what's this? What's that? No, it's very, very nice to see, made everything feel a lot, calm and nice, made him
Hmm.
more accessible.
That's interesting. And you see, now for one of my friends who saw the advert had said to me, I want to know what the children are thinking of us, the fathers. Now you're hearing it. They want you to be a communicator, to love what they do, to have fun. Your dad is a coach. So maybe that has also helped because he then wants to get involved. Is that the coach part of him comes to play a lot of times when he's home, right?
Yeah, yes, he does, because doing his job, he has to be very communicative. And it's more than just a coach at the same time, because it's more about his acceptance to try and be a better man. At the end
Hmm.
of the day, not just being a coach just because he knows for what his past experiences and growing up and things when we've talked and he's communicated, he said that he just does all these things to for us to know that he's there, and he's always accessible, and he's
Hmm.
always going to be someone who will be feel comfortable around, because that's something very important to him, that he wants us to be confident enough to confide in him, come talk to him in our times of needs, in our times
Yeah.
of like struggles, because you have to know that he's there and he's willing to help us, and be a great everything, like just be a
Hmm.
overall great guide and
Overall, great, Gabriel. But let me
great.
ask you this.
Yeah.
Between your dad and your mom, who are you closer with?
Oh, wow. Wow. Um, wow. I might say that's tough. That is tough. I'm putting me on the spot.
I am. I am,
Wow.
and I'm enjoying this.
You I don't even know if I can answer. I'm scared. I'm
You're
scared.
scared.
I'm scared. I'm very
Okay,
scared.
okay, okay. That tells me the answer somewhat. But let me ask you
Hey, man, I'm
But
very scared.
the truth of the matter is this. A lot of parents have realized we've learned from our experience with our parents and we're trying to close the gap. But there's
Yeah.
a thing about the boys and their mothers, the girls and their fathers. There's
Mhm.
that obvious thing. Who can you talk with more about relationships, Gabriel?
If I'm very honest, I think I've had a conversation about that with my mom. I think I've spoken to her more recently about it. Obviously, I've asked my dad a question or two, but I was had a more open conversation about that with my mom because because obviously I think because you would like a more of a feminine response at times because they would
Yes.
know more about their
Yeah.
own gender than you would know about your gender. So it's like you just go. It's natural. You just for some reason a natural affinity where I just go to your mom and like, oh mom, this, we did this, and you know, yeah, that's that.
Yeah. I actually think that is the root of the closeness because the girls, damn it, the same question. Who will you talk to more about relationships, your mom or your dad?
Well, first off, I'll tell my mom because we're close in that aspect. My mom is the counselor, like marriage counselor. So when I have issues concerning relationships, whether friends, I first talk to my mom about it, and we bring in my dad into the conversation because he's always around too. So, but my mom is the first point of entry, then my dad. Because maybe if I don't agree on something, I'll be like, "Oh, dad, what's your opinion on this? What do you think about this?" It's always like a round table discussion for us.
So, one of the things that you're bringing to us, the parents, is the fact that we need to be balanced. We need to be able to strike a balance with you guys and understand you and be able to relate with you at that level. So, yes, when you don't know about the ladies, yes, you talk to your mom and she must be ready to talk about it. And that's one thing a lot of children want us to be able to do. They don't want us to see them as children anymore. My tiny little babe will tell me, "Mom is like with every assertiveness in the world," and I'm wondering, so who is this babe talking to like this? But that's what it is. Your generation, you guys are very bold. Now, talk to me. What's the and sometimes we adults think you're rude because we didn't know how to ask our parents. You guys will ask every single question. Who should I put on the spot first? Jamie, let me ask you this. What's that between trying to be a friend to your parents? How do you ensure you're not also taking them for granted or being rude? Where is that line? Now I'm talking about fathers. Let's not go to mothers again. We talked about mothers all through May. So now it's fathers. We will not go back to mothers. How are you able to ensure that balance? That you can talk with him, you can ask questions, but then you're not also taking him for granted.
Okay. So I think the first thing for that balance to be there is that the father has created a relationship with that child. He has created from the beginning when they are younger, you've created that bonding with your child that they feel free to express themselves around you. So that relationship from their younger age is very important. And then as you grow up, you when they ask you questions, you don't just shun them off. You don't just say, "What do you know about it?" You listen to their opinion. It makes you free. It makes the child free to express themselves. And also, it's not just permissive parenting that you're using on your child. You're also like giving instructions, and the instructions come with rewards and consequences. So
Yeah.
growing up, I know the things my dad will not like me to do. I know the things that, oh, I know I won't get away with. So it helps me balance it in my relationship with him. I understand his temperament, he understands my temperament. So I know that when I'm speaking with my dad, okay, I'm friends with him. My dad is he always says that he's an old school dad. My dad is always like that. So I know that, okay, there are some things I won't do with him. There are some things I won't say to him, but at the same time, he's open enough to be my friend. So when I'm talking to him about issues that concern young people, I'm like, "Oh, I don't know if you know this musician, this," and he's like, "Oh, tell me about it." But when he's getting to a point where maybe it's limiting or it's conflicting with his values and everything, I'm like, "Okay, let's try to understand ourselves. Let's try to understand the stance that I'm taking. I'm not taking the stance that is against our values, but I'm just like, you could see it this other way." We might argue around it, but we always come to a conclusion. And in that, I respect him and he respects me. So there's that respect. I think respect is what breeds the balance. So you know that, oh, as cool and as friendly as my daddy is, I have to respect him because he's your father. So that
Mm.
respect breeds the balance between friend and the father being the head of the family and the yeah.
Okay, I hear that. So one of the things you're saying, which um, Gabriel made a whole lot of laid a whole lot of emphasis on, was communication. So that
Yes.
means that communication does not start when you are old. It starts from when you are
Yeah.
really young.
Yeah.
Young. Yes.
So I'm hearing both of you saying yes to that. But
Yes.
Gabriel, let me ask you this. When you say communication, it starts when you are really young, and the dad is out, is got to travel, is got to work, is got to do all of that. A lot of times the mothers are more around.
Mhm.
How do you maintain that relationship when it's gone and it's not there so many times?
You actually can maintain the relationship. You see, the beautiful thing about like technology these days is the telephone, and it's the calls when you like when you say, oh, go to me your mom. Ah, mom, I'm missing dad. Can I please call him? Can I talk to him on the phone? You know those things, and as insignificant as they seem when you're younger, they are very important in building the connection because that's where begin to that you then it also relies on the father as well to say how was your day to further the conversation and to ensure that both of you have a back and forth, like not back and forth, but there's a bit of communication between both. So other than how's your day, how was school, what happened, how you feeling, that's the beautiful thing about the mobile phone is you can communicate. Then also now you can video call as well, so you can get to see their faces. You can get to be like, okay, dad. So now the connection, the communication is going on, and now you can see that, oh, I can talk to my father. Okay, yes, I don't see him all the time, but he's making attempts, and that's where the respect is already other than builds up, and you and everything. So then you at some point you begin, as Dami said, you begin to understand them, the respect, and understand their values, and understand where it is, and you guys are able to come to common ground. All these things. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's
so communication. You said something. You said so. It's the daddy should be able to ask those questions. So when you say daddy hello, he should know that this child is trying to build relationship, and then he
yeah.
should take it upon himself to then probe. So how are
Mhm.
you? How is your day? That
Yeah.
tells you that he actually has time for you, and you're not like
You.
stopping him.
Yeah,
You know.
and the thing you should also notice that children, we notice the little tones in your voice, whether we are annoying you or anything. So when you come and you sound genuine and you are able to sound like we know that you are not like we're not being of a nuisance to you, it helps as well because there's confidence.
Hmm.
It's all about confidence, being able to open up, and so these things they really help.
Wow. That is, you heard that. The tones in your voice tells the story. So when you are saying hello, how are you? They can tell if you are like, okay, I've answered you, you can start going, or you truly want to know about them. But I'm still on this. Gabriel, let me start with you.
It's fine.
In choosing a path
Mhm.
in career, in schooling, in choosing subjects, what's your dad's role?
Um, it was for me. It was just really a conversation, and especially like I want to say for like when we're going to SS1 and after JSS3, and we just looked at everything and the results and everything. We had a conversation, and it was like, okay, Gabriel, what now? What do you? They first listened to me, because they wanted my input as well. Because as much as they have an input, it is also the child's life as well. So you have to give them the opportunity to express what they want. So we had the conversation. I said, okay, I was looking at science class, and I was like, okay, cool. They looked at me, they looked at my science subjects, they looked at my grades there, and they were like, you know they understood, they saw the affinities, they saw the likelihood of me doing this and also it trending into being a success, and they were like, okay, cool, we see that this is what you like, we see this is something that you're passionate about, we see this is something that you can find yourself and being more comfortable around doing. And they allowed me to go into that. My dad especially, because I remember when I got my NECO result and he saw it, he came, obviously he saw the results, and we talked about it for a bit. I can remember the day, and it was good, um, and that's how we did it. And it was between both of us, and he ensured that. Oh, he made me. He ensured that I understood what I was doing, and he wanted to know what I wanted as well, and that's what made the process really easy and
Hmm.
nice.
I hear that, but let me ask you. Do you have some friends who will tell you, I'm in this course or I'm taking this subject because my dad insists that's what he wants?
Yes, I have quite a number of friends actually who are like that actually, who are in that situation anyway. And quite a number. It,
Wow. I,
it's
I, I think that means nodding as well, that yes, we have friends like that too. Being
yeah.
friends around those people,
Mhm.
how are you able to influence
Yes,
them? Are you able to
yes.
tell them? Now, I'm just trying to see how are you able to help them get through it, or they are stuck with what their parents want them to do?
Yeah, I always try to lend a few words of advice, from time to time. And also tell them sometimes you have to also communicate to their parents, which is never easy because some of them are not used to that as much, having that one-to-one and intimate kind of conversation whereby it's determining their life because it's popular. If you don't do this particular course, parents won't be actively excited or happy about it. But sometimes I just try to talk to them and give them a few words like my parents have done to me. And because I'm able to see from that experiences and I see that, okay, this can actually make this better for you if you do this. And, thankfully, I just learned a few words. And sometimes, they seem to say, okay, it does help. It makes things a lot better. And, that's just credit to my father and
Hmm.
friends.
Gabriel, I'm still on you.
Mm.
With the kind of relationship we have with your parents, do you stand a chance of being seen as a daddy's boy, mommy's boy amongst your peers? And how are you able to handle that?
Yeah, I think very much so because among my peers, my friends know that I'm actually very close to my parents. They know that I actually do talk to them, and I'm actively, like always like proud to even say that. And I talk about my parents a lot among my friends, and because I feel like I'm just so blessed and honored. I feel God has done such amazing thing in my life, putting me where He puts me, and I'm just very happy to always talk about that. And I feel like I've never been pressured by anyone or felt any specific type of way because my parents have taught me to be secure in myself, and they've taught me to be confident in myself. So wherever anyone from outside wants to give a view of me or wants to tell me or put me in a small box or something, I've never felt it because I've told them I know who I am, I know where I'm from, I know my father, I know my mother, I know what my name means, I know the power in my name, I'm just more secure. I know God loves me and everything. So I'm very, very always. I've never really felt belittled by anyone. I always felt like secure in myself.
Wow. So, fathers, one of the things I'm hearing is let's build conversation early with them and let's also build confidence in them. So, when our relationship is being misunderstood by their friends, they can say, no, I know who I am and I know what I'm doing and I want this. Dami, what's your experience in this line?
So career-wise, my parents were very hands-on with my academics, especially my dad because we will go to school together. I'll get to his office, then we'll go home together. So it was something like they would as much as check my dates, check my notes. I had that kind of hands-on experience with my academics. So from my young age, I already said I was going to be a lawyer. So my parents wanted me in science class, and but instead of lord it over me, what they did was set up a session with my guidance counselor in secondary school, and they were like, "Oh, you're good in science, you're good in arts too. So why not? Do you like sciences? Why do you want law?" They asked me those important questions about careers with my parents there, and I told them that I've always loved law. I want to go into it. So they agreed with me, and my dad was my champion in that law because when you go to secondary school, you hear them say, "Oh, art students are not brilliant, art students are not smart when it comes to maths and everything." My dad will go for my open day and he'll be like, "No, my daughter is smart. She just wants to be a lawyer. That's why she's in art class. So do not say they do not understand maths or anything." He was always championing my course in school because it always made me sad that they thought art students were not smart, we didn't know maths and everything. So he championed my course once he knew this is the line I was going in, the oh, she wants to study law. And he was so fine with it. Like my parents were fine with it. And in university, linked me with people that studied law. I ensured my dad is so hands-on about career and academics. They want to know the dots, they want to dot the i's, they want to cross the t's. So we did academics, and I'm doing academics with them. So they're like, oh, how's your grade going? Do you enjoy this law you're studying? Like, what area do you want to practice? Or do you need counsel from people? And it's always to say, okay, meet this person, learn one or two about it. It's always hands-on with me. And concerning friends that are in courses or they're in careers they do not want, what I tell them to do is, that path you want, that career path you want, do something in relation to it and show your parents. Like, show them that,
Hmm.
oh, you can trust them in making these decisions for yourself. That I want to study art, okay. Show them drawings, maybe sell one or two. If you can possibly sell, show them that, oh, you're good at it. So as I'm doing academics, the route you want me to take in my career, I also want you to know that I'm also good at art and I can make a living out of my passion. So it's showing them that you are able to stand on your own,
Hmm.
that you are able to be independent in your decisions. And that way they'll be like, okay, I can see that she's passionate about this thing. Maybe she'll make a difference here. Let me give her a little, let me relax a little and give her a leeway, and let's see how she does it. So you're not really disobeying your parents, but at the same time, you are creating that access for your passion. So they begin to see, and then trust me, once your father sees that, oh, you're actually good at this and you know what you're doing, they will relax a little bit and they will give you access to do the right thing.
Hmm. I like that perspective. I didn't think about that. Show them what you can do with that thing you love to do so they can kind of trust you. But let me ask you this, Dami, I'll start with you and I'll come to you also, Gabriel. When there are times you think your parents don't understand what you're saying, I don't know if you understand it. It's like you know something, but they can't seem to see it. And your dad is like, I came to this world before you, so I know some things. But unfortunately for us, the world has changed so much between that our time and now. How are you able to bridge that gap and relate with him? So, Dami, over to you. Did you get my question? Hello, Dami. Are you still there? Did you get
Okay,
my
so
question?
I agree with you. There are so many times that we do not agree on a point. It sees it in this perspective. Okay, it sees it in this perspective. My dad sees it in this perspective. I see it in another perspective. So I agree. Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
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 Yes, I did. I got your question. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Go
Yes,
ahead.
well, yeah.
I think her network is playing a fast one on her there.
Yeah, yes.
Dami, we can hear you so well. Okay, I'll bring her back in a moment. Let me allow you, Gabriel, take that question.
Hmm. I think what one thing that is important is because obviously but they have to always be open minded, and also because like the technological advancements and how drastically things change from the last 20 years to where they are right now. It has it has to enable you to have to think with the times in a way. So it has to enable you to understand that, okay, oh, this when I was in this time wasn't looked as an honorable thing or an honorable session. I was able to bring forth this and bring forth this, but now this is also something that has become a stable income and has become a stable point in today's world and today's times and how everything is. So it's just about again, like parents who need to open mind. They see, that's why when you see the news, you see the updates on all these things and things you don't know, if a lot of things being multifaceted and everything, is key and important from like the children, or not necessarily the parents, also the children and parents, to have this like talks, because then your mind will be broadened. It's like now, like, for example, like when normally, like in case of like, let's use your mobile phones, when you're trying to do something with your phone and you seem cannot be able to help, and you have to meet your sons or daughters and ask them, oh, John, what is this? How am I able to do this? How am I able to impute this? That's, and now and then they get educated and they get like, oh, so you can do this, you can do, there's an app to even help you with this. So all these kind of things are important. All these kind of things are why parents now need to open their minds and be like, okay, there's a chance and there's a possibility that this can happen to help me to see these things. So it's all important for you to keep your peripheral and your mind open, and don't close a lot of doors to some things, because you never know the outcome. Because these days, a lot of unorthodox things, or things which you would never have imagined would have been something of a stable home, is being something people are building millions, and people are raising themselves to put themselves in significant positions in the world, and to better put themselves and make significant impact in the world of today. So yeah,
Hmm.
I think those things are important.
Gabriel, you touched on something I want to take you guys on. Social media.
Hmm. I was expecting this.
Sometimes we parents are afraid of you guys on social media. Should we be afraid?
Um, I feel yes and no. I
Mm.
feel reason I'll say yes, you should be afraid is how easy false information can spread on social media, and how easy it is to put false information out on social media. That is something that is, because sometimes you never really know what is the truth about some things, because I can honestly wake up today, I can go on Wikipedia, I can put in a little information, edit something, and say, oh, this is that, but necessarily it's not true, just because of how easy it is to do certain things like that. It makes you fear, and how, like, sometimes you need to be careful of what children would see on social media and regulate it, so they don't start seeing things that a child or a kid shouldn't have to see, or not see unfiltered things that are not good for them. The negative sides of anything. So yes, that I understand why. At the same time, no, because now there are safety measures that are being implemented to help parents and to see what their child is doing on social media, like their kids lock. There are some apps that help you to regulate what your child is doing, setting even like mobiles. I remember when what's the name? I think Nine Mobile opened up this app, even a tab where you can monitor what your child was doing, and made it a kids mode basically, and you can see and be confident in what your child is being using on social media, and see what your child is doing. And so yeah, so I feel it's half and half. I'm
Hmm.
half and half on it.
Half and half. There's this question, and I think Dami should take it first. Which is the greater influence on you guys? Is it your parents or social media? Which
Hmm.
one is the greater influence?
Is it me or Dami going first?
Dami, can you hear me? Dami, if you can we start with you? I think she's still having that glitch. We can see her clearly. Okay, Gabriel, go ahead.
Um, that's an interesting question. I think parents actually, because that's your first mode of communication before anything. So before you get into social media or anything, your parents are the first mode of communication. So your parents will initially have a great impact on how you see things, because unconsciously to you, you pick up traits from your dad and your mom. Like sometimes I've noticed that when I do certain things, I have similar traits to my father.
Okay. I think it depends on the relationship. I think it depends on the relationship. Yes, I can. It depends on the relationship you have with your. Okay. It depends on the relationship with you have with your child already.
So, Dami, go ahead. I think she's having a delayed response. So I'll come back to her. I'll just have her check it back again backstage and come back. So go ahead.
That's what I was trying to say. I feel like it's just
So because you had the relationship with your parents first, you think is the parents first,
yeah,
right?
the parents first. That's your first mode of communication, because when you're born, the first faces are most likely you see is your parents. When you're one, whose time are you spending with is most likely your parents. So it takes a couple years before certain things start having influence. So you build your characteristics, you build your self communication, your skills most of them start coming from your parents because those are the first people you tend to see before you start seeing social media.
Hmm. So yes, they're the first you get to see before social media. However, the parents must have developed a strong bond
Oh,
so that it works.
have to.
Otherwise, when social media comes, it just
They get
carries on
swayed, they
like,
get swayed by anything. Swayed
yes.
easily.
So Dami, are you back now? Can you hear us well?
Yes,
Okay. So
thank
Dami, let me
you.
ask,
The weather
yes.
is a little hazy here. So,
Oh,
okay.
that
So I was
explains it.
saying that relationship having that relationship with your child from their young age helps. So when they know they can trust you, that they can ask you questions, you have a greater influence on them than social media. So when they see things on social media, their first reaction is to come and ask daddy, that daddy, see what I saw on social media, what do you think? And you explain to them, be truthful to them, because there's you can't hide the truth anymore. If you don't satisfy them, they will go to social media or go to their friends to get that satisfaction or get that answer. So just find a way to tell them the truth. Tell them, okay, maybe if it comes to slangs on social media, this is not good for Christians. Why? Because you're a child of God, you're not supposed to say words like this, but this is what the word kind of connotes. This is what it means. So they are satisfied. Oh, I trust daddy. Daddy said this word, I'm not supposed to use it because it means this, and it is not for Christians. So when they go out in their with their when they're with their peers and they say, oh, don't use this word. My daddy said it is not good for Christian. This is what it means. If you told them the truth about the meaning, they will feel confident about it. But if you lie to them about the meaning, their friends will be like, that's not the meaning, no, don't you know this and this and this, and they do not have that confidence they have in you again. So just
Hmm.
find a way to tell them the truth to their level and explain to them why they shouldn't or should use that word. It builds confidence in them. So whatever they see on social media is not their first influence. You are the first influence. So they run to you no matter what because they trust you and have confidence in whatever you say or do.
Hmm. That's awesome. So it's really the foundation that we have laid that matters. Is as we lay our beds that we're actually lying on it. So when
Hmm.
you have
Definitely.
disagreements, how do you resolve it? Dami, let me start with you.
Okay, so when I have disagreements with my dad, because we kind of have the same temperaments, what we usually do is cool off, then we come back to it. When we think about the situation, we might bring in my mom into it, my brother, but we cool up, we bring back the question or the argument again, and we're like, okay, this is my perspective. I'm always about perspective and balance. So this is my perspective on this issue. I understand your perspective, and let's find a compromise, a common ground. That's what I'm always about, finding that common ground, that compromise. And when he listens to me and sees how sound, okay, this is what she's saying, then he can advise me, and this is what you are to do, this is what you are not to do. But the thing is about finding the balance. I always try to remember that, oh, you can't always be right. Even when it comes to technology, your parents know a little or so. So listen to their wisdom, listen
Hmm.
to what they have to say, bring in your own perspective. Oh, this is how I see it, and let's come to a compromise. Not that you want to win the argument, but because you want us to come to a balance, a compromise. And that's what helps me with my relationship with my dad. So this is your perspective, this is my perspective. How do we bring it to a compromise? Do we have to bring in a third party? Do we have to Google, or should we cool off and come back again? That's what helps me with my relationship.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know if everybody heard that. Do we have to argue it between ourselves, bring in a third party, or bring in Google? But that's the reality of today. So, Gabriel, how have you been able to resolve differences with your dad?
It's always about Erin. We both have to talk about. Well, normally he lets me, especially because me, I normally bring things to him, so he listens to me, and he always wants to listen to say know exactly how he's probably going to tackle the information and relay it back to me. So whenever I've asked him questions, he was there. Then he'll not give me a broader understanding or show me a point of view that it makes me understand or see the standpoint from where he's coming from. So because he always wants you to understand, like, okay, this is a way, this is a possibility, this is this, but you also can do this, which will lead you to go to this and lead you to go to the next level like this. And we always have this like hash it out. He always gives me room to speak as well. After he said what he said, but also still wants to hear what I think, so that there is that he knows that where he knows where my standpoint is, and we can get to see where both of us are coming from at the end of the day. Sometimes if we have to like see more, source out more information, so we can come back to it. Like that means Dominic says, like, if you're adding a third party, sometimes my mom could potentially add in and add and ask her questions as well, just to further the whole conversation, so that we know that I'm getting the best possible answer and the best possible information from all around, so as to not confuse me, but to bring me to a point of understanding where I am like, okay, I see. This is what I should have been looking at. This is the point of view that I
Yeah.
should have been aligning myself with. This is a point of view that makes more sense. And this is something that, if you do this, you can see yourself moving forward and having like a pattern and a way to do this and that.
Hmm. Hmm. That's deep. So is for parents, the answer to the question of children is not yes and no. It's got to be explanatory. Bring
Very
both
much
sides
so.
of the coin to the table and tell
Yeah.
them, if you turn left, this is where you get to. If you turn right, this is where you get to. So we just have to explain. Kind of when we were growing up, many parents, but I'm privileged. I grew up with a father that would love to tell stories. My mother would tell, she wants to tell you don't do. She starts with a story. So she will tell
Mm.
you this long story and then show you from the lessons in it why should I be going in that direction. Maybe that's why I love to tell stories today. So I hear you. Wow, time is fast spent. I wish we could go on. Okay, Dami, let me take your final words on dad. So it's Father's Month for us on Knox to Nugget. 2 Sundays from now will be Father's Day. So a final word to your dad on Knox to Nuggets. Have I lost Dami again? I think the weather is really dealing with her. So, Gabriel, let me
Mhm.
take it on from
Final
you.
word to my dad. I'll
Yeah.
tell him I love him.
Now, go on. No,
Yes, go ahead. You tell him you love him. It's Father's Day. Okay, Gabriel, let me take your final words.
okay. To my father, dad, dad, dad. It's been me and you. It's been me and you for a couple of years. I'm so grateful for to you. It's been an honor. It's been a privilege just to call you my father, and to be able to go to you to source our information and what you've done for me and how you've impacted me. I love you with all my heart. Thank you for just being a loving father and making me being confident in myself to confide in you, and you being able to talk to me about things as well, and we being able to have this great relationship that we do have. I'm so grateful for you, Dad. Thank you so much, sir, and happy Father's Day as well.
Thank you. So, Dami, are you back with us now?
Yes, I'm back, thankfully. So
Mm.
I want to say I love my dad. I support you. Thank you for all you've done for me. Super grateful to you. You know, I love you with all my heart. And I want you to know that I'm proud of you. I'm proud of how we've grown together as a family. I know that no matter what, I've got your back because I know you've also got my back. So happy Father's Day, Daddy. I love you.
Wow. Wow. I feel teary now. That was so emotional from both of you to your dads. And I know the fathers are watching and they are so, so proud. I know you have answered this before, but let me just take it again. And I'll take it to you, Gabriel. How
Yes,
do
ma'am.
you handle peer pressure?
How do I handle peer pressure? From the values and also as a Christian, I'm growing home in a Christian home, and from the conversations we've always had on a lot of things, weed, being drugs, and anything, and always trying to educate me and show me in the where I I really think I handle peer pressure well. I have not been pressured to do anything that I do not feel comfortable with, and I take that in all honesty to my parents, my father instilling in me like, Gabriel, this is who you are. Gabriel, this is who you are. And you are a Christian. At the end of the day, you come from a Christian home, you come from a Christian background, you know this is the standpoint we are, you know this is what is right and this is what that is not acceptable. And through those things and through those values that has been instilled in me, I know for a fact that I have not been present to do anything I don't need to do, because I don't feel compelled to follow the trends of the world and have to be doing all these things. I feel very secure in who I am, and that is all thankful to the foundation my parents have been laying in me, and have been showing me that, Gabriel, this is what you do. Gabriel, this is where you see this. And also, just also when I feel pressured, I always just call. They're always one phone call away, and that always helps to add more to me, and also just make me feel more secure in my decisions and everything. So
Hmm. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Gabriel. And thank you so much, Damilola. I truly appreciate both of you for agreeing to come here, agreeing to be vulnerable and share your experiences as we celebrate fathers in the month of June. Thank you very much.
phenomenal.
Enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ma. It's been a blessing. It's been a blessing.
Thank you. I appreciate. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Wow, wow, wow. That was so much from my two dear friends. And my joy is that their fathers have been able to connect with them, communicate with them, and be friends with them. So they're ever able to run back home when they have questions. Like Gabriel said, and Dami had also said it earlier, I don't get into peer pressure because I know who I am. I know whose I am, and I know who I ought to be. So my friends tell me this, I tell them, no, that is not what I believe. They're able to stand and hold their own because somebody has instilled confidence in them. Coming up next Monday, a dear father will be coming to the house to talk to us about the role of fathers in the children. His wife was here 2-3 weeks ago, and he is coming. No other person than Pastor Femi Megbokwe. He'll be with us next week, Monday, as we look at the role of fathers. And still in the month of June, we're going to have Shegun Lawal come in. And Shegun Lawal will be talking to us again about the role of fathers and how you can guide your children into decision making, into career, into discovering their gifts and talents and making them the best. So June is loaded for fathers. And of course, mothers, you have a whole lot to glean from it. And children, you are not left out too. So until I come your way next week, Monday, don't ever forget it. If you can think it, you can be it, and you can have it. And as always, together we win. Thank you so much for being on this show with me. And to everyone that will watch after, thank you. God bless you. Bye for now.